Yeah, but could what's good for the goose also be good for the gander? That is the big question as Republicans now set their sights on kicking Biden off the 2024 ballot. Joining us live now to weigh in on this newest effort is one of the Republicans spearheading it, Missouri State Senator and gubernatorial candidate Bill Eigel. Senator, thanks so much for joining us here on Special Report. I want to start with this. I mean, what Democrats don't seem to understand is that this is a two-way street. The schemes that they're drumming up to now to meddle in the 2024 election can also be used against them. So tell us about this legislation that you have filed in the state of Missouri.
Yeah, absolutely. We just filed it yesterday, and it's going to be, I think, one of the first of its kind anywhere in these United States that says that it's going to grant our governor the power to identify individuals who are aiding and abetting what effectively makes up an invasion of our state's sovereignty. Now, the last time I checked, the only person that fits that description right now in America is a guy like Joe Biden. I mean, folks are keep talking about Donald Trump, but let's be honest. When Donald Trump was the president of America, the flow of illegal immigrants coming over our southern border was completely stopped. When Joe Biden took over, an entirely different story. We've had millions of individuals coming into this country illegally, suffocating our local communities, putting a big, huge burden on our taxpayer, and driving up crime all over this country. If we're going to talk about an invasion or insurrection, that's where we ought to be starting. And I tell you what, these baseless allegations and attempts made by some states in the union to kick a guy like Donald Trump off the ballot is not going to stand. Missouri is going to be a leader in this country and say that if you're actually guilty of these things like Joe Biden is, you're not going to run on the ballot in the state of Missouri. So we've gotten a lot of feedback. I tell you, we've got a lot of negative feedback from the very predictable folks on the left that don't want to see something like this happen because they've never stood up for America. But we're getting a heck of a lot of positive feedback from the people of this state that I think in 2024 are not just going to help take Missouri back, but are going to be leading this country and how we can take our country back.
Yeah, Senator, and just one of there's so many questions we could ask just about the border, but one in particular that really impacts all Americans is the $1,100 or more dollars that every American taxpayer pays per year per illegal immigrant. And you're looking when you travel now in the airports, you look on your plane and my majority of the plane when I was flying back here on Christmas break was full of illegals. At the airports, you see illegals all over the place. Well, American taxpayer dollars are going towards that. So isn't there something that can be done to hold the administration accountable for our money that we're paying for illegal activity?
Absolutely. And this is a problem. By the way, we're seeing this in virtually every state of the union. And, it's true right now that whether it's the federal level, the state level, or the local level, every one of us Americans, every one of us have never sent more of our time and treasure to government than we have right now, adjusted for inflation. And yet, in spite of that record amount of sacrifice, look what's happening. Joe Biden has turned on us and is using our own tax dollars against us to bring people that aren't allowed to legally be here into our country, and it's suffocating us. The tax burden is stagnating America. It's stagnating Missouri. And I got to tell you, we haven't had leaders ever since Donald Trump left office. We haven't had national leaders. And in the state level, we're trying to find folks that are going to push back on this. We're going to cut government. We're going to Missouri. I'll give you guys an example. Missouri, the state of Missouri right now is estimated to have 51,000 illegal immigrants, and that number is growing every day. It's a multi-billion-dollar burden that's being placed on the state of Missouri. It's leading to avenues of crime coming out of our urban areas in St. Louis and Kansas City. And I tell you, the people in Missouri, they're furious about it, and I think that same anger is being felt all over the country. So what are we going to do about it? Well, I'll tell you what, a lot of us are going to be showing up in 2024 to vote a lot of these bad actors out of office, whether it's at the federal level or all the way down to our local county commission. So we're seeing engagement that we've never seen before. Folks getting involved in the political discussion that have never been involved before. And I tell you, my message to those folks, if you're out there and you're angry and you're unhappy about what's happening to your country, you're not alone. There are millions of Americans just like you. They're going to take the Missouris of our country back. They're going to take back every state in the union. Let's go, America.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are watching you very closely because other states are also looking at following your lead. That includes Florida and Texas. So let me ask you, is there strength in numbers? And I say that because right now there are about, at least at last count, I think 30 states trying to remove Trump from the ballot.
Yeah, there are strength in numbers. And I think that's why, when folks first start getting engaged in the political discussion, and by the way, people get involved in politics because of what they see as wrong with the political discussion or direction. And right now, we've never had more broken government. We've never had more things wrong in our public discussion. So we have right now more folks, more patriots getting involved in that discussion than ever before. And that's a great thing. What we've got to identify and be able to articulate to those folks coming out that want to fight for their country is the idea that they're not alone and they don't have to buy into the lies that are coming out of the Biden administration, that are coming out of Washington, D.C., and are telling them that most important thing that the swamp needs, which is that they ought to be afraid, and that they are alone. Well, I'm here to tell you, they're not alone, and they don't need to be afraid, because in 2024, so many of us are going to stand up and say, what's going on in these other states, it's not going to stand. We've got folks out there, whether it's me here in the state of Missouri fighting to keep the true insurrectionists off the ballot like Joe Biden, or it's leaders in other states, or it's Donald Trump himself taking on the swamp in Washington, D.C. That is a message that people are going to buy into, and that's how we're going to save our republic.
Well, Senator, thank you so much for joining us. I mean, what you are doing there is really groundbreaking. So definitely keep us posted on on that legislation, if it passes, to in fact take Biden off the ballot. We appreciate your time today. Thank you.
Ladies, thank you so much. Have a happy new year. I hope to talk again real soon.
Us as
Thank you.
well.